Ladies and gentlemen, hello, hello. We are finally back after a while once again from the flight deck. My name is Parrot and welcome to the stream. I hope everybody is doing okay and I hope everybody's been doing well since we last saw each other. I know it has been a while. And while I don't really want to call it an excuse, I do have my reasons and we'll get into that later on in the stream. But nonetheless, welcome back. As you guys can see, we are on the ground here in Nashville. We do have a new look for the stream, finally. And we are in a new plane, at least not new to the sim, but new to us. Welcome to the JustFlight BAE 146-300 QT. In this beautiful FedEx livery today. And without any further ado, let's jump right on into the cockpit and let's get started with everything. Now, let me just go ahead and before I start on my checklist, let me make sure that we're connected to the Vatsim network. Today we are flying as FedEx Flight 480. And let me make sure I upload my flight plan here. Going from BNA to KCHS, and our alternate airport today is going to be Jacksonville, JAX. We're going to be flying at flight level 250, and that is that. Oh, looks like we just lost Jacksonville Center. We did have, that would have been our main ATC today, would have been Jacksonville Center, but we do have Nashville departure online, thankfully, and it looks like after that it's going to be just us on our own. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get working on these checklists here. Head on up to the overhead and we can start with batteries 1 and 2 can come on. Make sure I'm looking at the correct side here. That's not even the right page. Which one is it? Here we go. Alrighty, batteries 1 and 2 can come on. Navigation and no smoking signs can come on. No smoking signs, just kind of a formality because we are in the cargo variant today. Cabin emergency lighting, we can go ahead and arm that. Brake selector, we'll just make sure that that is on yellow. Which it is. Awesome. Alrighty, back on up to the overhead. Yaw damper master 1 and 2 can come on. Autopilot master and then our avionics masters can all come on. Anti-skid light, anti-skid brakes can come on. Yellow and green lift spoilers, we'll go ahead and turn those on as well. Bus tie AC and DC can come on. Standby INV and generators can come on. Galley switch, we'll go ahead and set that on as well. Generators 1 and 4, make sure that those are in the off reset position. They are. APU gen, we'll go ahead and flick that into the on position. Make sure that we get our left inner fuel pump on. And before I turn on the APU master, let me just today. Alright, got that pulled up and we'll import everything. Perfect. Weight and balance is set. Now we can go ahead and start the APU and we will let that get running. While the APU is starting, guys, I do want to say I have one big change that I want to announce right off the bat. I don't know if I can wait till we're in the flight to put this out there, but as you all might remember last time that we were on the stream, I still was running my company. And since then, I have actually made the decision to sell off. So I no longer run a trucking company. I am now actually fully enrolled in flight school. So I am on the pathway to becoming a commercial airline pilot. Super, super exciting stuff, at least for me. And hopefully, as I learn more in flight school, we can transfer that over to our flight sim streams. Alrighty, now that the APU is on, back to the checklist, we can go ahead and switch APU air on. We'll get packs 1 and 2 on. And we'll turn on engine anti-ice 1 and 4. Flight deck emergency lighting can go to the arm position. Yaw damper switch, we'll go ahead and push that. That's down here. There we go, didn't want to push that first. And then oxygen mask valve, we'll go ahead and hit that one right there. And then we'll go ahead and hit that one over there. Parking brake is set. Thrust levers are in the fuel off position. Hydraulics are off. Let's go back up to the overhead, and center take transfer, we'll go ahead and set that to auto. Let's see, pressure for the flight, we're going to be at 250, so we'll go ahead and turn that over to 250. Let's see, ice detection, we'll go ahead and turn that on. Fuel quantity is verified, we just did that beforehand. Seatbelt signs, that doesn't matter, we don't have passengers. And let's go ahead and give Nashville departure a call. Let's turn all of our radios on. I'll just go ahead and turn these radios on, the navigational radios on as well, just so I don't forget. And let's see what the frequency is, 118.4. We'll switch on over to that. Make sure I grab my pen and paper so I can copy our clearance, and let's give them a call. Nashville departure, good afternoon, FedEx 480 looking for clearance to Charleston.
FedEx 480 Nashville departure, hello, clear to Charleston Airport, Evans 3 departure, Evans transition, then is filed. Maintain 4000, expect flight level 25010 is after. Departure this frequency, squawk 0413.
FedEx 480 clear to the Charleston Airport, Evans 3, Evans transition, then as filed. 4000 on the initial, will expect 25010 minutes after departure. Departure with you and squawk 0413.
FedEx 480 readback is correct. You can push start at your discretion. Call me for taxi, holding short of Alpha, expect 20 right for departure.
20 right, and we'll call short of Alpha, FedEx 480. Alright, awesome. Got our clearance set up. Now we can go ahead and plug in everything down in our FMC, our very basic FMC in this aircraft, but an FMC nonetheless. Let me make sure I switch these switches over because it's not in the checklist and I will forget. That just, for those of you that don't know, these two switches the autopilot from being in the radio navigation mode to FMC navigation mode. So moving down into our FMC here, we are departing KBNA, and we're going to Charleston KCHS. Awesome. Flight number today is FedEx FDX 480. Now let's go to our departures and arrivals. We're going to be departing 20 right. That's what he said. And then we're going to be on the Evan 3 and the Evan transition. Awesome. Now we'll go to our legs page. And after Evan, we will be heading to Oscar Delta Foxtrot, ODF. And then on to India Romeo Quebec. Let me see which one. I'm pretty sure I know which one it is, but I'm just double checking on the OFP. North 33. Awesome. And then we can execute that. We can go to our arrivals page. departure arrival index, arrivals, we're going to be coming in via the ILS runway 33. And we're coming in via the Osprey 7 IRQ transition CHS transition, and we can go ahead and execute that. I'm going to go ahead and leave the vector in there just to make sure that our plane doesn't try to come in at an odd angle. And that is everything down in the FMC. So we can go ahead and continue our checklist here. Flight director bars can come on both sides. Navigation radios, already got those plugged in. Heading, let me grab the heading for runway 20 right. It's going to be heading 200.9, so we'll put in 201. Although our the yellow bar there is already lined up, so we'll just match up our heading with that bar. Chances are he's probably going to give us a different heading on departure, which is alright. We'll change that when he gives it to us. Okay, altitude. Our initial altitude was 4,000, so let's go ahead and plug that in. Alrighty, and we will also put heading mode on, and we can arm vertical speed as well. Let's see. Alright, that is everything before engine start on our checklist. I'm doing a shortened version of the checklist. Okay, so let me see which way we want to push back. We're going to 20 right. We want nose left. Yeah, nose left. So let me go ahead and call our GSX guys, and we will prepare for pushback and departure.
Delta 496, descend to maintain 3,000.
3,000, Delta 496.
Let's get that pre-plugged in there.
Hello, Captain. We're ready for pushback.
Alrighty. Let's get this push started. Let's get underway, and we will begin with our flight. Now, just to start briefly into why I've been away for a while, there's actually a multitude of different factors. One of them being my flight sim has been very, very problematic recently. I'm sure you guys can see that I've had to turn the graphics settings down. Ever since the recent sim updates, I've been having serious performance issues.
Kramer, cross Kramer at or above 3,000, clear Dallas, runway 20 left approach.
Oh,
Right,
let me get the
Kramer at
stairs
or,
and door
4,000, cleared
closed here.
20 left approach, Delta 496.
Be at or above 3,000.
3,000, my mistake.
Hello? Do they not want to close? Well, that's a bit of an issue.
Locking gear.
Nashville approach southwest 549 at 14,000 with echo.
Southwest 459, Nashville approach. Hello, thanks for echo. Squawk on in.
That is really a bit of an issue. I'm not sure why these air stairs and door will not close.
Southwest 549, your radar contact 5 miles southeast of the High-Mat intersection. Altitude indicates 14,000. Welcome aboard. You can descend via the Swift 2 arrival. Expect the visual approach runway 20
Give me
left.
just 1 second to look this up.
Expect runway 24 left. Say again, the rest.
Southwest 549, descend VB
Ah.
to arrival. Expect the visual approach
Okay.
20
I need to
left.
come up here and I need to turn
Descend final shift 2, arrival.
that on so that we have hydraulic pressure.
549.
That makes sense.
Southwest
Okay.
549, 20 left.
20 left, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm still getting used to this aircraft, everybody, so I do apologize. I'm not going to be the most proficient in it. I can fly it pretty well,
Release parking brakes.
but other than just the basics of flight, I do
All engines
have
clear. Start at will.
still a lot of learning to do in this aircraft. It's very, very detailed. Alrighty. I'm getting a little bit distracted there. Okay, now that we are pushing back, we can go ahead and continue with our checklists here. Beacon light can come on. We got all of our fuel pumps on. APU air needs to come off, and then packs 1 and 2 need to come off. Start power can come on. We'll go ahead and select engine 4, and let's click start. Watching down here till we reach 10% in this first God, I'm forgetting the word for it. Gauge. That's what it is. And our engine should be starting nicely now. Getting a bit of a terrain issue, or a scenery issue here. Not sure why that is, but like I said, ever since some update 9 and then 10, I've been having some serious performance issues no matter what aircraft or airport I go to, and it's been so bad that I haven't even been able to think about streaming. But finally I've managed to get it at least somewhat playable here. Now, I can't guarantee that we're going to be back on schedule because, like I said, I am in flight school now, and I am a full-time flight student, so
Set parking brakes.
I will have a lot to do.
Confirmation for good engine start.
Give me a second. There's a lot going on. I'm not very good at talking while trying to multitask.
Start. You can disconnect.
Go ahead and start engine 3. Yeah, being a full-time student, I won't have a whole lot of time to be streaming. I will try to make time. I'll definitely be streaming a lot more than I have been. It's been like 3 months since the last time I had a stream. But hopefully, I'll try to do it at least once a week for you all.
Unlocking gear.
Alrighty, it looks like we got a good engine start on number 3. We'll switch back over to 2. Give 2 a start.
Delta 496, the wind's 18015, gust 21, runway 20 left, cleared line.
Runway 20 left, clear land, Delta 496.
Alrighty, just watching everything down here. Looks like we're going to have another good start on 2. And once all these lights extinguish up top, we'll go over to engine 1 and give it a start. And there we go. We'll wait for 1 to fully start, and then we will continue with our checklists. I do have all the checklists printed out, and I have the physical papers next to me, so if you guys hear them flopping around, that's why. I was able to laminate them all. And it's pretty nice actually having a piece of laminated paper that you can hold to look through your checklist to make sure everything's all good. And that is a good start on 1. So we'll switch that to off and we'll get the start master off. Continuing with our checklist, engine anti-ice will not be required. It is a gorgeous day here in Nashville. APU air can come back online. Packs can come back on. Brake fans, we'll go ahead and turn those on. That's up top here. Turn those to auto. Engines 2 and 3 hydraulic pumps, we'll go ahead and switch those on. PTU we already turned on. AC pump is on. Heaters can come on as well. And let's make sure that we set our transponder. So 0413. Nope. 13. There we go. And we'll go ahead and switch that to TARA because I will forget if I don't. Alrighty, moving on to our taxi checklist. I'm just going to do this before we start taxiing. Flaps, we'll set those to 18. Taxi lights, go ahead and turn those on. Rudder trim and aileron trim and elevator trim. Let's make sure those are all good. Config check. Let me turn off the parking brakes. Hold that down. Config is good. And then we'll go ahead and turn on continuous ignition. Hit the wrong switch there. Alrighty. Now let's go ahead and taxi down, and we will call when we are short of alpha for taxi instructions to runway 20 right. Now I do still get the occasional stutter here and there, but it is nowhere near as bad as it was. Hold on, let me turn the cabin ambience off.
Exit right when it...
Delta 496, thanks for welcome. We are off on Hotel 2.
Delta 496, Hotel Juliet, Tango 6.
Hotel Juliet, Tango 6 to ramp Delta 496, thanks for your service. Have a great one.
Nashville departure, FedEx 480, short of Alpha, ready for taxi.
FedEx 480, runway 20 right, taxi via Alpha, cross runway 13 Alpha.
20 right via Alpha, cross 13 Alpha, FedEx 480. Now I did turn the wrong way, I noticed on the pushback, so we will have some back taxi to do. But that's okay.
Descend and maintain 3000, Southwest 549.
Once again, I hope that everybody's having a wonderful afternoon today.
And Delta 496.
Delta 496, good.
We're actually looking for Concourse B. Can we take Lima Bravo, or do you just want to go via the ramp?
That's approved, Delta 496.
Delta 496, thank you.
Getting a bit fast here. Now, I'm going to be using the TMS system, but I'm probably not going to be using it correctly. I still don't really know how to use that yet. We'll get our strobes on as we get ready to cross the runway here. Like I said, I'm still in the process of learning this aircraft. It is extremely detailed, and I have absolutely fallen in love with it. I've always loved the look of the BAE, the 146, as well as the Avro RJs. I know they're the same aircraft, but I never really took the leap into learning it until recently. I was always pretty intimidated by all of the steam gauges and not having really anything modern in the cockpit, but once I took the plunge, I could not be happier. Now it is an extremely windy day all across the country today.
Southwest 549.
And I know that when I flew
230 vector to the visual.
I flew into Nashville earlier today with this aircraft, and it was extremely bumpy.
Just for visual. Southwest 519.
FedEx 480, fly runway heading, the wind 180 at 15, gust 21, runway 20 right, clear for takeoff.
Runway heading 20 right, clear for takeoff, FedEx 480.
Southwest 549, the field will be at your 9 o'clock, 14 miles, port when you have it in sight.
Alrighty, let's go ahead and switch our takeoff lights on. Or our landing lights on, I mean. And we will get on out of here.
Speed alive, both sets. 80 knots cross-checked.
It's definitely windy. Got a crosswind from the left.
V1, rotate. V2.
Southwest 549, I'm present heading, intercept the runway 20 left, localize.
Intercept the localizer, Southwest 549. And Delta 496, we're in the ramp. Thanks for your service again. We'll leave you some good feedback.
Thank you, sir. See you next time. Thanks, flight.
Flaps coming up.
See ya.
FedEx 480, your radar contact, clear direct Chippy, climb and maintain 15,000, say altitude.
Clear direct Chippy, climb and maintain 15,000, currently passing 1500, FedEx 480.
Southwest 549, the field now 12 o'clock in 11 miles. Do you have a sight?
Field is in sight. Southwest 549.
Southwest 549, clear to visual approach, runway 20 left.
Clear visual approach, runway 20 left. Southwest 549.
Alright, now that we've got a second, let's run through our after takeoff checklist here. Oh shoot, I was not paying attention. We are a bit over speed. Bring those throttles way back. Get ourselves back under control. Camera's doing something weird here. I'll increase our angle of climb here in a moment once we get leveled out on the turn. But let me stabilize the aircraft and then we will go through our checklist. There's quite a lot that has to be done with this aircraft as soon as you get up in the air. Forgot to turn the generators on. That's what I did. I know I forgot something.
Runway 20 left, cleared line.
Okay.
Clear to land, runway 20 left. Southwest 549.
So now that we've got all that figured out, let's go ahead and increase our angle of attack here. Alrighty. So thrust is good, brakes are released, gear is up, flaps are retracted, autopilot is engaged, engine air 1 through 4 can come online.
480, are you able to direct chippy?
Yeah, 480, we are turning direct shippy now.
Up, thanks sir, I see that.
APU air can come offline. Let's go ahead and turn the TMS on and let's get it synced. AC pump and the PTU can come off. And the APU master itself can come off. There we go. Bit of a rocky start here, but nonetheless we are up and we are rolling. That probably has to do with turning the APU off. And we can increase our thrust again now that we are at a good climb. I have the altimeter set incorrectly. It jumped up a little bit since I started my flight. Or since I started the sim, rather. Yeah, looking back through my checklist, I see exactly what I did in terms of the generators. I read engine anti-ice and I turned those off, and then I accidentally skipped over generators 1 and 4 and I went straight to APU air. Bring the throttle back a little bit to try and hold us right at 250 knots.
549, welcome to Nashville, right on Hotel Juliet Tango 6 to the right.
Juliet Tango 6 to the right. Southwest 549.
Alrighty, passing 10,000 feet, we can go ahead and turn our landing lights off. Bring our throttles up just a little bit to try and hold speed.
FedEx 480 Memphis enters offline. You can monitor UCOM. Have a safe flight, sir.
Over to UCOM. Thank you kindly for the service, FedEx 480.
Anytime. We'll see you next time. Thanks for flying.
Alrighty, and we are now on our own. Let me double check. Yeah, it looks like Jacksonville is offline for good. So we are going to be on our own, presumably for the rest of the flight here. Which, in this aircraft, not having ATC actually presents its own challenges because you have to calculate your own top-up descent, and you have to follow the descent profile yourself using vertical speed and calculations based on your distance. From what I understand, the calculations in this aircraft, that I don't know if it's just this aircraft or in general, but the calculations for your top of descent should be however many thousand of feet you have to descend, multiply that by 3, and that's how many miles out you want to start your descent. So far that method has worked, so we will try to keep to it. I'll try not to be late. I might be early on my descent. But my earlier flight this morning went off without any hitches. Let's actually make sure that we bring our altitude up to our cruise of 25. Current ETA until we get into Charlotte is about 1 hour and 11 minutes, give or take. And if you guys see me doing anything wrong, by the way, as I'm flying this, like I said, I am still getting used to the aircraft, so please point out or give me tips if I screw something up. And I'll definitely take those into account. So now that we are in the climb, though, getting into the reasons why I haven't been streaming for a while. Like I said, one of the reasons was my sim was acting up and I was having issues, but also the trucking market, having owned a single truck company, it was very, very difficult to do anything except for just break even on all of our expenses. And trying to manage all of that on top of trying to see if I could renew my insurance and everything else, it was becoming a lot. I was getting extremely stressed, and I just really had no motivation to do anything other than just try and figure the company out and, you know, get on with what I had to do on a day-to-day basis around the house and all that. And that is one of the things that played into my decision to actually close the company down. John and I decided that it just wasn't worth the money that we were putting into it, and the markets, they were supposed to have picked up coming closer to Christmas time, and the freight markets just aren't picking up at all. So while we were able to, and while we were able to get good money for the truck still, we went ahead and sold the truck. It actually just got picked up on Friday by the buyers. And I went ahead and finally followed my true dreams and was able to enroll in flight school. So that's all super exciting stuff. I'm going to try and get a GoPro here sometime soon. And I'm probably not going to be recording any of the initial bits of flight school, but once I get some time under my belt and some experience under my belt, I'm going to go ahead and start filming. Especially once I get my flight instructor certification, I will definitely start filming those flights. But I'm honestly really excited for this new chapter in my life. This is something I should have done way back when I got out of high school, but I also learned a lot of very, very valuable experience owning my own company and, you know, overcoming all of the challenges that came with that. And I don't think I would have been in the place that I am now to start if I had started right out of high school, if that makes sense. But that being said, overall, it just feels like I'm getting a whole fresh start on life, and I just couldn't be happier myself. Now, I'm still trying to decide what I want to do in terms of my flight career, whether I want to be an airline pilot, whether I want to go to a charter airline, whether I want to do something like wildfire tanker flights, something like that. But the opportunities are definitely endless right now in the aviation industry, and I am looking forward to navigating through this, trying to think of the words to use here. But I'm looking forward to basically to just learning, honestly, and figuring out what all I want to do. As you guys can probably tell by my inability to come up with words right now, it's been a long day already. But I definitely wanted to hop on the stream once again. I know, like I said, it's been way, way too long. And I wanted to catch back up with you all and see how all of you were doing, as well as update you on how my life is going. I did not switch down to 2992 yet. Probably should have done that a few minutes ago. Passing 230 now, we're 2,000 away from our top of climb. Once we get up to our top of climb, I'm going to do this very early, but I'm going to go ahead and pre-program everything for our arrival in terms of the ILS, just to take some of the workload off while we are going through our descent. And I am going to put this little warning out now. I'm still getting used to landing this aircraft. The characteristics of landing are very, very different from anything else I've flown in the simulator. And like I said, I'm still getting the hang of this aircraft. I've only got about 6 flights under my belt so far. And some of those landings weren't necessarily the smoothest. But my flight earlier this morning into Nashville, touchdown with 206 feet per minute, so that wasn't too bad. This plane does love to bounce on touchdown, and I'm getting the hang of using the spoilers and speed brakes because on this aircraft, unlike a lot of others, you actually want to extend your speed brakes before you touch down, and then as soon as you touch down, you want to extend the lift spoilers to prevent it, or try to prevent it from bouncing. Alrighty, we are now up to cruise at 250. So let me pull up the approach chart here. Our ILS frequency is going to be 108.9. That's already plugged in. Final approach course is going to be 334. Our minimum is going to be, our decision height is going to be 200 feet above the ground. So we'll just plug that in now as well. Awesome. Go ahead and start to throttle back a little bit to get some fuel economy on our cruise here. Throttling back just a bit more because our speed is still creeping up. Now I do know I've said it in my previous streams before, but I will say it once again. I do apologize that it is a bit quiet during cruise. I'm not the best at just talking to myself, and at the moment, being that we are still a very, very small channel, there's not really anybody in the chat. So without people to talk to or without anything to respond to, it's pretty difficult for me to come up with things to talk about. And I do apologize. That's just that's something that I'm trying to work on myself as well. But in the meantime, it just kind of is what it is. I do hope to start seeing more and more people pop in as I start streaming once again on at least a somewhat more regular basis. I know I'm definitely not going to be keeping up with the schedule that I had set way back in the day, but like I said, I'm hoping to at least get one stream a week. So if you don't want to miss it, make sure that you go ahead and hit that subscribe or follow button, depending on if you're on Twitch or YouTube. And make sure to turn your notifications on. You can also go ahead and follow me down there at AJTransco on Twitter. And you will be able to get notifications that way when I go live as well. Go ahead and throttle back a bit. We're getting just a tad over speed here. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that we have a tailwind on this flight. Now I do apologize, I'm not going to be able to do as many outside or wing shots in this aircraft, being that you have to keep your throttles manually adjusted and really keep watch of everything. You do kind of have to be in the cockpit a lot more in the BAE. Or the 146, I should say. Now once the Avro RJ releases, I'm not sure if it's released yet, but once I find out that it's released, I am going to go ahead and pick that up. And I'm excited to see the differences between that and the 146. Alrighty, we're about 42 miles away from the IRQ waypoint. And then from there we are going to be transitioning into the arrival, or the approach. No, it's the arrival, the star for Charleston. We're going to pass the IRQ and then we're going to be going up to the Beef waypoint. And once we pass Beef, we're going to start our descent down to flight level 110. And we will, once we start that descent, we will go ahead and begin our checklist for that. We have already pre-programmed our ILS, and that takes off some of our workload. But we'll go ahead and set the field elevation, and we'll make sure that I set the VREF speeds down to 109 once we get to the IRQ waypoint. Gonna bring our throttle back just a tad bit. We are creeping up on the speed there after that turn. And once again, in just about 40 miles, or 43 miles, we'll begin our descent preparations. So on the descent, we're initially going to be dropping down to 11,000, and then once we pass the Babu waypoint, we're going to be descending down to 5,000. And we'll stay at 5,000 past Lexi. And once we reach Lexi, we will drop down to, let me see, we dropping down to 2,000. Again, I like to stay ahead of the descent path when we are uncontrolled like we are right now. In the meantime, let me pull up the weather in Charleston. Looks like winds are variable at 5, so much nicer than they were over in Nashville. 10 miles of visibility, clouds, there's few at 25,000, so it is crystal clear. Altimeter 3010, I'll go ahead and plug that in down here so I remember it. And temperature's 24 degrees. It looks like it's going to be a beautiful approach into Charleston. Hopefully, with the winds being nice and low like they are, we will have a smoother touchdown than what I had this morning. But once again, I'm still getting used to the aircraft, so no promises. Bump the throttles up a bit more here. The upper level winds today are pretty wishy-washy. They keep pushing us faster and then they go away, and I end up losing speed again. Just gotta watch my throttles a little bit more than usual. But that's one of the things I really enjoy about the 146. I love how hands-on it is. I love getting used to the steam gauges and not having really any modern avionics in the cockpit. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, that was one of the things that was really keeping me from flying the 146, was I was kind of intimidated by the steam gauges and all of the older avionics. But now that I'm getting used to it, this thing is an absolute blast to fly. I did plan this flight out to have at least having some controllers in for our approach. Jacksonville Center was online, but they went offline pretty much right as we started the stream, unfortunately. So, like I said, we will be on our own. That seems to be my luck with Vatsim controllers. I'll plan flights where I have them, and then when it's actually time to fly, they'll go away. So let's go ahead and pre-program 11,000 in. What else do we have to do? VREF speeds. Let me just put that down to 109. I'll just use this one because it's easier to move. There we go. And then let me match this speed bug up with it. Awesome. And then once we're about right here, this is our distance marker to the next waypoint. Once we reach the beef waypoint, which is about 10 miles, we're going to start our descent down to 11,000. Bring the throttles up just a tad bit as we are getting a bit slow. Go ahead and arm the altitude over here. And 5 miles to go before we start our descent. Two miles to go. Go ahead and arm vertical speed there. All right. We will begin our descent now. And let's begin to bring our throttles back. And we can switch this over into descent mode. Now I'm still not 100% sure how the TMS, which is this rudimentary auto throttle, works per se. I have a very, very, very basic understanding, and so I only use the modes that I kind of understand what they do. If anybody, has any insight on that and can leave a comment or go ahead and let me know in the chat, that would always be greatly appreciated. Like I said, I'm here to learn and grow. Now that we are in our descent, we can go ahead and turn the PTU on. And we will continue through our checklist once we pass 10,000 feet. Now, I don't have any of the chats pulled up right now, y'all. I just want to let you all know. I'm looking at my charts on my other screen to make sure that we are following the descent profile correctly and to make sure that we don't end up too high somewhere. Passing through 19. Once we get to 18,000, I'll go ahead and switch our altimeter up to 3010. That is the current local altimeter down in Charleston. Alrighty, we are through 18,000, so let me go ahead and switch the altimeter up, 3010. 15 miles to go, passing through 16. The Babu intersection, or the Babu waypoint, which is the waypoint that we are headed towards now, we got to hit it between 210 and 110. So we are looking great on our descent profile. Once we pass that, I will go ahead and bring our altitude setting down to 5,000. and we will hold 5,000 until we are past the Lexi waypoint. And once we get past Lexi, we can go ahead and descend down to 2,000. So, looking at everything, we got 9 miles to go. There's no way we're dropping 3,500 feet in 9 miles. So I'll just go ahead and bring our altitude setting down to 5,000 now. I'll bring our throttles back a little bit. We're riding right on 250 knots. Everything is looking good so far. Looks like I did calculate our descent profile correctly. And we are on track to making all of our altitudes when we need to hit them. One mile from the Turtles waypoint, and then we'll be on to Osprey. Alrighty, as we're coming up to 10,000 now, I'm going to go ahead, it's a little bit early, but I'll turn on our landing lights now. APU can come on board. Nav radios and courses are already preset. And that is everything on our initial approach checklist. And then once we begin our turn towards the ILS, we'll go ahead and bring our flaps down, turn the AC pump and the APU air on, and we will turn off the engine air. Just passing Osprey now, making the right turn towards the Pam J intersection, or waypoint. I keep saying intersection. And I'll bring our heading bug over to line up now with the heading that we are currently on. Because once we hit that vector point, we're going to go ahead and switch over to heading mode. And we will manually turn ourselves in towards the ILS. And we'll switch over from the FMC navigation to the radio navigation mode. That will allow us to capture both the ILS and the glide slope. Bring our speeds back just a little bit more. We're creeping up above 250 knots. Bring in a little bit of speed brake. Passing through 6 now, 1,000 to go till we reach 5. And then we've got just 10 miles till we reach the Lexi waypoint, and at Lexi we will descend down to 2,000 feet in preparation for the ILS approach. Once again, bring in a little bit of speed brake to help slow us down here, make sure that we don't exceed 250 knots. As we level off here, I will pre-program 2,000 into our altitude setting. And in about 4.5 miles, we will start descending once again. And when we do start descending here, we're going to descend at a much smaller vertical speed, so we won't be descending at 1,000 feet per minute. We'll be descending right around at 500 feet per minute to get down to 2,000. I guess the proper term is a much slower vertical speed. Don't really know what the proper terminology is for that. Slowly trimming down so we reach 500 feet per minute, and we'll bring the autopilot back in. From here we'll switch on over to heading mode. And I will switch our nav radios, or our navigation equipment, over to radio mode. Alrighty, before we start our turn, let's go through the approach checklist. AC pump, we'll go ahead and switch that over to auto. APU air, we'll go ahead and switch that on. Engine air, we'll switch those off. And we are now all set up. Passing through 4,000 now. Bring our speeds back a little bit. Cut in a little bit of speed brake here. I'm trying to keep us in between around 220 and 210 knots as we come in for our turn here, and then I will start slowing the aircraft down and configuring for landing, bringing our flaps and gear down, and hopefully setting ourselves up for success here. And I'm looking at my charts over here on my other screen, and I'm waiting until we get right about in line with the shrimp waypoint, which is part of the ILS for runway 33 here at Charleston. And once we reach the shrimp waypoint, or we're parallel with it, I'm going to go ahead and start our turn to the left to line up with the ILS.
Glide slope's alive, 1 dot to go.
Alrighty, we've got glide slope alive. Let's go ahead and begin our left-hand turn. Now I'm using my Bravo throttle quadrant to move the heading bug here. I just find it easier in this aircraft to use the throttle bug, or the throttle rotator versus the knob in the aircraft, because I can keep watch of the let me go ahead and
Localizer armed. Glide slope armed.
arm the glide slope and the localizer. Once again, we're just slowly bringing ourselves around to line up with the localizer and the glide slope. Or the localizer, I should say. We'll capture the glide slope once we're on the localizer here.
Localizer captured.
Alrighty, we are on the localizer now. The aircraft has taken over, and we can begin to really start slowing ourselves down here.
Speed checked below 205. Select flaps 18. Speed checked below 205. Select gear down.
Alright, we got flaps 18 and geared down, and we will slowly start bringing the rest of our flaps in as we descend, or as we drop our speed.
Glide slope captured. Established on the ILS.
Now, I apologize for being a bit quiet here on the approach. I really want to pay as much attention as possible to what I'm doing to try and get us a nice smooth landing here. Looks like current winds at Charleston are 030 at 6, so we've got pretty much a direct crosswind from the right-hand side. Go ahead and bring those speed brakes out. That is one of the things to get used to in this aircraft. It is designed to be, or it's designed to have the speed brakes fully extended during your final approach into the runway. And, you know, obviously it's one of the very few aircraft that are designed like that. It's definitely the first one that I've flown designed like that.
Autopilot disconnected.
My aircraft. Alrighty. Kind of guide her in nice and gentle here. Bit low.
Plus 100. Minimums.
Landing.
Minimums. Light slope. 50. 40, 30, 20, 10.
Alrighty. Oh, geez. Kind of sliding off the center line here a bit.
Brake pressure seen. 80 knots.
Not too bad. 245, but I didn't slam it, and I definitely didn't bounce it this time. So I am pretty happy with that. Go ahead and clean the aircraft up, and let's go ahead and get our turn off here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Charleston. I'm not too familiar with the Charleston airport. I'm pretty sure, I don't even know if they have a true cargo ramp here, but I'm going to make my way over this way past the FBO, and I believe just southeast of the terminal is, on the charts it reads as an assembly area, but I'm going to, you know, just kind of take that as the cargo area for now. But nonetheless, that was my best landing so far with this aircraft in terms of not bouncing. I know I did kind of hit my pedals and came off the center line just a tad bit before I got the nose on the ground. But it's all part of the learning curve, and I'm having a whole lot of fun with this aircraft. I think this is one of, if not my absolute favorite so far in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Definitely feel free to let me know your guys' opinion on both the aircraft and my shoddy flying of it. We will get the strobes off once we go ahead and cross 3-3. Alrighty. Strobes can come off. But guys, definitely let me know if you want to see more of the 146 and the Avro when it does come out. And if you don't, let me know what you do want to see. I am open to flying anything in my hangar for y'all. I wish I could fly the Phoenix more, but the Phoenix, with the performance issues I'm having in the sim already, the Phoenix just absolutely runs horridly. And it's an absolute shame because the Phoenix is one of my absolute favorite. I think second only to the 146. And I really, really, really wish that I could fly the Phoenix a lot more. But unfortunately, it just is what it is at the moment, and either Asobo or the Phoenix team have to, hopefully both, but either or, they'll have to make their aircraft, or make the software run a lot smoother. And I'm guessing that we'll just be parking down here where that warehouse looking building is, right on the end. Like I said, I'm sure I'm going to the wrong spot on this airfield, but I'm not familiar with Charleston at all, so I don't know where the correct spot is. Alrighty, parking brakes set. Let's see. TMS power can come off. Transponder will go ahead and turn that off. Continuous ignition A and B can come off. And parking taxi lights will go ahead and turn. Oh. Yep, those are off. Parking brake is set. I'm not sure where that setting is. Hydraulic pumps, we can go ahead and turn those off. We'll leave the PTU and the AC pump on so that we can still use the doors. Generators 1 and 4, can come off. Thrust levers, we'll go ahead and set those to the fuel off position and shut our engines off. Fuel pumps, except for left inner, we'll go ahead and turn all of those off. Heaters can come off. Ice detection, we'll go ahead and turn that off as well. And then the beacon light can come off. Awesome. Let's go ahead and get our door and stairs open. We'll get our cargo door open. All of the cargo doors, because we do have some cargo underneath as well. Get the chocks in place. And that is that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today on this flight. I hope that you all enjoyed it, even though I wasn't necessarily the most proficient pilot. I do definitely hope to see you all again in a future stream, and for those of you watching the after the fact, I do hope to see you in a future stream at some point. From the flight deck, my name is Parrot, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your evening.